Hello everyone, on behalf of iLand and our partners, I'd like to welcome you to today's presentation, Accelerate and Simplify Your IT Initiatives with iLand Secure Cloud. You know, you can't go a single day without hearing cloud. Cloud first initiatives, born in the cloud, cloud native, cloud disruption, and it's true, cloud is actually changing the state of the industry, and companies have to transform or they have to be disrupted. In fact, when we've surveyed executives, over half of them report a high level of risk to their organization by upcoming startups or new innovations by their competitors. In addition, almost half of the CEOs are being challenged by the board of directors to make progress in their digital business transformation. And finally, over 74% of CFOs say that cloud computing will have the most measurable impact on their business. But it's more than just that. If you think about how IT has evolved and changed over the last years, it really starts to come down to how can you make your IT innovate and deliver value back to the business. You have an entire stack of traditional IT hardware, from the storage and networking and servers and cables and power and cooling and the facilities. But honestly, none of that is driving innovation in your business. So IT needs to evolve and refocus their efforts on things that are going to drive IT innovation in their organization. New applications, understanding how to deploy quickly, and trying new IT strategies that can ultimately benefit their business. And that's why we see that cloud is key to this transformation. Obviously, the first thing people think about is reducing their cost. They no longer have to worry about the data center, the power, cooling, cables, servers, storage, networking, or having to maintain hardware support for any of that stuff. Not to mention long hardware cycles, refresh times, procurement cycles, all of that stuff can be mitigated by migrating to the cloud. In addition, cloud offers a new type of payment model of pay as you use or pay as you consume. So no longer are you overbuying or over-provisioning and not taking advantage of that. You're really paying for just what you need, and you can grow and scale whenever you need to. Another big benefit is reducing risk. When you're talking about IT resilience, you can reduce your downtime by having multiple systems, global reach, high availability, backups, disaster recovery. And then when you start thinking about security and compliance, having all of those tools in the cloud can help you reduce those risks as well. And finally, all of this allows you to reduce time to market. With the ability to rapidly provision new systems or ecosystems, you can quickly try out new theories or new technologies to see if it even fits your business need. You don't have to wait around for procurement and hardware and installation and configuration just to find out that that's not the right path for you. It allows your IT team to be nimble and agile, quickly deploying and managing new systems as needed. And whether your customers are external or internal, you now have the tools to be able to manage all of that. This sounds great, so why isn't everybody in the cloud? Well, there are a lot of concerns about cloud adoption. First and foremost is security and compliance. Does the cloud provider understand your needs from a security perspective and a compliance perspective? Are you able to have the same level of malware, ransomware protection, firewall rules, and security standards that you have on site in the cloud? In addition, from a compliance standpoint, does it meet all of the compliance needs and attestations that you need as an organization, whether you're regulated or not? And how do I audit all of those from security all the way down to my compliance needs? Another big concern is migration planning and execution. This is great. How am I going to get there? How am I going to take all of the things that I have on site and bring it to the cloud? It's really easy to design new environments in the cloud, starting fresh with a cloud installation, but I have all this legacy equipment, all this legacy infrastructure. How do I bring that with me to continue to run my business? The next concern is predictability of costs. We talked about how that introduces a new cost model, or pay as you need or pay as you grow, with scalability and performance and the ability to understand what you're using and how much it's going to cost you. But without understanding and having full visibility into your costs, they can quickly spiral out of control. Not knowing where the resources are being consumed and by whom can be detrimental to your cloud adoption. There's also a myriad of questions around hidden costs, the hidden costs of training, the hidden costs of skill set compatibility, the hidden costs of support and maintenance, and all of those things that come along with it beyond just the resources that are being used. And finally, one of the biggest concerns is around software and service integration. Will the cloud platform work with my existing software vendors? Is it the same hypervisor? Do I have to go through additional training and completely uproot my entire workflow to make this all work? The iLand Secure Cloud is a VMware-based infrastructure, so moving your on-site VMware environment to the cloud is simple because there's no conversion process. All of the workflows and all the processes that you have on site work inside the iLand cloud. In addition to that, once it's there, how am I going to manage it? And we're going to talk about the iLand Secure Cloud Console and go through a demonstration. To dig further into some of the technical hurdles, the first one we hear is, okay, that's great. How do I get all of this stuff there? iLand has a free analysis tool called Catalyst that will actually analyze your entire data center so that you can understand what needs to be moved to the cloud and what kind of resources it's going to consume. And this is great because a lot of times when you look at cloud, the first question is, well, how much do you need? And the answer usually is, I don't know. So you need to be able to understand your cloud resource needs that you have on site and what it's going to bring to the cloud. And then you want to make sure that you right size it so that you're not overpaying or underperforming. And once you get there, you want to make sure you have the same level of manageability and visibility that you had on site. With the iLand Secure Cloud Console, which we'll show very shortly, you have a unified management platform, and it gives you full visibility into everything from performance to billing, consumption, and even security and compliance audits. With full management functionality, you don't lose anything that you can do on site, any of your workflows, any of your tasks, because all of that is in the iLand Secure Cloud. Whether you're deploying new virtual machines, whether you're managing your firewall, whether you're running security scans, or recovering files from a backup or disaster recovery, all of those tools are available within the iLand Secure Cloud Console. So let's go ahead and take a look at the iLand Secure Cloud Console. And this is a unified management platform that will help you innovate and simplify your IT objectives when you start talking about cloud adoption. Over here, you can see access to all of the iLand global data centers. So depending on where you have your IT assets or running workloads, you can make sure that you can monitor and manage it all from a single pane of glass. Now, the first thing that people talk about when they talk about cloud adoption and management is really around security. And so the iLand Secure Cloud Console has full user identity access management built into it. So you can leverage roles, so you can make sure that only the people that are supposed to see the things they're supposed to see have access to it. And you can choose all sorts of different roles, and they can all have access to different things, whether it's the billing, whether it's disaster recovery, whether it's backups, whether it's the ability to power on a virtual machine or open the console. All of that can be done just like you have on site, so you can leverage all of those existing virtual center roles and permissions you have and bring them directly to the console. Now, when you talk about the daily tasks of an IT administrator when looking at their own infrastructure, there's a whole bunch of things that they need to do. They need to be able to provision and deploy new virtual machines. They need to see the performance and manage those virtual machines. They need to manage their networking and their firewalls. They need to report on all this. They need to run automation and workflows, and they need to make sure that all of it is secure. So all of that can be done within the console, and we're going to touch on a little bit of each of those sections here in this demonstration. Over here in each location, you can see everything from the top level organizations and virtual data centers to the applications to the virtual machines, as well as networking and catalogs that you can use for uploading new virtual machines or provisioning new virtual machines. So let's take a look at how easy it is to provision or deploy new virtual machines. Up here from the organization, we can drill down into one of our virtual data centers. And then over here, under the Actions tab, we can go ahead and select to build a new virtual app from a template or build a new one from scratch. Now, what's great about a template is you can actually reuse the same sort of thing that you do on a daily basis or a monthly basis as you're deploying new solutions. Maybe you design a web farm and database and applications, and they all need to be together, and they pretty much have the same thing each time you deploy it. You can create templates that allow you to do all of those. So here we can put in some information for our new virtual app, choose from among our catalog. And the catalog is great because we actually design a whole bunch of virtual machines that are ready to go right out of the box in our own public catalog. And then you can also upload your own OVFs or your own ISOs and create your own custom templates just like you would do in Virtual Center. We'll go ahead and select one. And here you can choose all the traditional things that you want. So whether you're choosing your different storage profiles, how many virtual NICs you have, what adapter they have, all of the traditional things that you do when you deploy a new virtual machine in Virtual Center are all here within this wizard. And from here we can go ahead and deploy it. No matter what you're doing in the console, over here you can see all of the different tasks and notifications so you can be up to date with whatever is going on in the background. Once your vApp is up and running, you can go ahead and add additional virtual machines to it like you normally would. You can edit the properties of everything, manage your startup, shutdown, all of the things that you're used to in Virtual Center so that it can feel exactly like the deployment processes you have on site, but now in the cloud. So whether you're provisioning 1 or 100 virtual machines, it's as simple as a few clicks right from the interface in the wizards. Over here under virtual machines, you can click on any of the virtual machines just like you would in Virtual Center and gain access to all of the information. You can see the physical layout of it, how many processors, how much RAM, storage. You can actually leverage the action items to actually change that, whether or not the operating system supports hot add or you want to power it off and modify it just like you normally would with any virtual machine. You can attach an ISO and have the operating system inside see it. You can additionally see all the performance and monitoring. One of the things about cloud is making sure that you utilize all your resources and that you don't over provision or underperform, and having the ability to see the performance of all your virtual machines, all of your assets, is imperative to manage all of that. From here, you can change which metric you want to look at, whether it's RAM or network or storage utilization. You can see real-time or historical, so you can actually see how these virtual machines have been performing over time, and if there's any hiccups or any glaring issues that you want to address. You can also configure resource alerts. Maybe you want to make sure that there's an alarm when something like over CPU or some sort of bandwidth issue comes up. You can do that all from within here and see it in your Alarms tab. The Iland Secure Cloud also has fully API-driven analytics and allows you to run any sort of custom queries you want to gather the data you're looking for. Continue looking at this virtual machine. Going down here, you can see the backups. Now, it's imperative that once you start running your organization in the cloud, that you still have the same data protection and IT resilience policies that you have on site. And this means backups, disaster recovery, all of those things. Iland automatically includes an air-gapped backup of your virtual machines so that you can make sure that they're protected. From here, you have all the normal backup and recovery options that you have, whether it's file level or virtual machine level restoration. Down here, you can also see all of the events that have been happening on this virtual machine, and all of this can be exported for reporting. Let's take another look at the actions items, because this is very important to what you're going to do on a normal day-to-day basis. Being able to pyrocycle, insert media, and more importantly, open the VM console to this virtual machine is something that you commonly do from within your Virtual Center client, and now you can do the exact same tasks in the Iland Secure Cloud console. The next thing we want to show you is how you can manage all of your networking within the Iland console. Because you think about it, you're no longer dealing with networking on site, you're dealing with software-defined networking in the VMware NSX layer, and you want to be able to manage all of that from your rules to your firewalls. So from down here, you can go ahead and click on any of your gateways. And just like before, you have a full actions tab of all the things that you can do, from routing, load balancers, as well as setting up your VPNs into the cloud. In addition, you have full functionality for setting up internal networks, VLANs, all of the things that you expect to do in your normal organization, but now you can do it within here to make sure that all of your virtual assets can communicate with who they're supposed to and not leave any sort of VLAN boundaries that have been set. A full range of firewall rules, NATing rules, all of that stuff is still available and easy to configure from within the different wizards. Because it leverages the VMware NSX, you can actually take a lot of the rules that you have on site as you do your migration and bring it online and very quickly mimic exactly what you have on site so that your virtual machines, when they get brought online, feel right at home. We touched a little bit on the catalogs in the deployment section, but really when you think about all the things that you need to do to run your virtual environment, you want to be able to quickly and easily spin up new virtual machines or entire vApps. And so you can create catalogs, and you can see them here, or you can leverage the Iland Global catalogs to select different operating systems that you need that are already pre-configured for you. In addition to looking at just the edges, you can actually click on the networking tab and see all of your edge gateways, all of the internal VLANs, and any of your public network connections. So from a single pane of glass, you can see all of your networking, internal and external, to make sure that you have it all set up properly. You know, one of the biggest concerns that people talk about with cloud adoption is really their security. They want to make sure that it's as good as they have on site or even better. And we aren't just talking about ransomware protection or denial of service protection. We're talking about a full suite of tools for everything from vulnerabilities, the ability to encrypt, web reputation, and more. And usually when you go to the cloud, the next thing you have to do is you have to bring all of that stuff with you. You have to understand what security processes and which security software you need. But the Iland Secure Cloud comes with all of that, a whole myriad of security tools and reporting so that you can focus less on that aspect of IT management and focus again more on that driving business value we talked about earlier. So from the security summary screen, you can see all of the different scans and tools that were run, and you can get an alert or a report based on what you want to see. In addition, not only can you use the Iland Secure Cloud console to manage your security, but you can also manage your support and your support requests from here. In fact, the Island Secure Cloud Console is a portal into not only support, but also feedback into product development. Down here we have chat, we can talk to support representatives. We can also make suggestions about features or new ways we want to leverage the tools. We can gather all of our security events and reports down here, and in addition to security, we have an entire suite of compliance. Now, a lot of times cloud projects start to stall once the compliance team comes into play because you need to make sure that you are moving your organization to a cloud that has all the attestations and all of the certifications that it needs to meet the compliance needs of your organization. So not only has Island been awarded the Cloud Security Alliance Gold certification, but there's a myriad of other attestations and certifications that we have. In addition to all the reports you can run, whether it's ISO or SOC or HIPAA, you can also talk to our compliance team who can help you with anything from GDPR to any other compliance questions or issues that you have related to cloud-based operations. You can easily generate reports throughout the console for whenever you need to do auditing. In addition to running applications and workloads in the cloud, a lot of customers are also leveraging cloud for cloud-based backups as well as cloud-based disaster recovery, and all of that can be seen in the Island Secure Cloud Console as well. From up here, we can click on backups and gain insight to anything that's coming from an on-site location that's being backed up. You can manage your consumption, your billing, your alerts, all from this single pane. And when it comes to IT resilience, either between Island data centers or between an on-site and a cloud infrastructure, the ability to automate, orchestrate, test, and fail over from within the console gives you that single unified management window for your IT resilience platform. And we'll talk much more about that in another dedicated video. And finally, the last thing we want to talk about is visibility into billing, because again, it's a cloud-based resource, you're paying as you consume it, and you want to know what your cloud costs and predicted behavior is going to be. From the billing tab, you can see everything from your summary that's historical to usages to a breakdown of the actual resources, whether it's storage or RAM or bandwidth. In addition, most importantly, you have the ability to show which business units in your organization are consuming the cloud costs. You can do that from an organizational view up here from a virtual data center, and you can see various reports and charts about all of the consumption that you're using. With the ability to drill into any of these metrics, you can see every month what's being consumed and how it's being leveraged. And honestly, the one way to curb spiraling out of control costs is to have direct insight and understanding into what's being used at the time. So that's just a short demonstration of the Island Secure Cloud Console, and honestly, at Island, our mission is your success. So within the console, you have the ability to chat with support, manage your virtual environment, gain visibility into performance and to billing, and manage your global cloud infrastructure. All of these help you simplify and accelerate your IT initiatives and focus more on that top of stack business value, knowing that your organization is going to be secure, resilient, and performant inside the Island Cloud. Island is an award-winning global cloud service provider of secure and compliant hosting for infrastructure, disaster recovery, and offsite backups. With the Island Secure Cloud Console, you gain unprecedented visibility and management into your cloud assets and services, removing any barriers to cloud adoption. And with that, I want to thank you for joining us today in this presentation. Find out more information about all of our cloud services at island.com.